Hey guys, Vortex TCG here, and today we're back with another deck profile. This is a deck profile that I don't think I did before. I think it got scrapped because I wasn't very happy with the deck. But now we're in BT11, we've got a lot more support for this deck. I think it's a really good time to play this deck as it has a lot more tools now. And that deck is Aegisdramon. Aegisdramon was probably one of my most favourite decks coming out of the EX3 set. It had a different playstyle that hasn't really been explored that much in the Digimon card game. And with Aegisdramon, it expanded on it a lot. And in BT11, we got even more support to help this gameplay out, one of the two. And if you are looking forward to this deck profile, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I'm uploading every other day. And let's get straight into the deck profile. Alright, and let's get into the deck profile. We play the mandatory, and yes, I do really mean mandatory, 4 Penguinmon. This is the best egg for the deck because it allows you to gain a memory when you play a guy from your Digievolution cards. Pairs really nicely with a level 5 that we'll showcase in a bit, but always getting a memory, it essentially means that a lot of your level 6s, 5s and 7s become 1 cheaper essentially. So we do play 4 of this. There isn't really another option at the moment to gain a memory from playing a card, so that's what we do. We then get on to some of the new support in BT11 Penguinmon. I really like this card because it just essentially means a lot of the cards that we play in the deck we can recycle to draw 1. Sometimes in this deck we have a little bit of a bricking issue, and you'll see it, well you would have seen it in my game 3 against Galacticmon. It helps a little bit, but sometimes you just can't save it. But just getting an additional draw 1 is really nice. Allows you to put another card underneath directly straight away. So for me, I play 4 of it. I think it's really good. Then we get onto the main plus engine of the deck, which is the Gomamon. Gomamon, when it's played, draw 2. And if you like to draw 2, or everyone likes to draw 2, so you play 4 of it. You can't really cut it. It's probably the best card that you can get from a source. So the other one being the Crabmon. If you play it normally, you get a jamming, and then if you play it from a Digievolution card, you can place a level 5 or lower Digimon card from your hand underneath that card that you gave jamming. Good recycling, so you can use this with like an Aegisdramon, put it underneath the Aegisdramon, and then use the Aegisdramon source to then bring out something else, and then potentially return a guy from Plesio. There's a lot of stuff you can do, and there's a lot of advantage you can gain very quickly with this deck. So I really do enjoy having this at 4. And then we play a pretty high rookie count on this deck. We play 14. It's the Dracomon. Sometimes we just need a lot more search, and I was playing this at 4 originally, but I kind of cut it to 2 because I value the Penguin a lot more sometimes. The Dracomon here allows you to find Dramon cards, and what you'll notice very quickly is that a lot of these cards are Dramon. So we play 2 of it, and we can always bring it out because most of the cards that you get to play from Digievolution sources always say level 3 or something with aquatic in its name. So that is our rookie lineup. Then we get onto the champions. For Tobiomon, just probably unironically one of the best aquatic cards that you can get at the moment, because it costs 3 to play, so it's pretty cheap to play on board, and it only costs 1 to digivolve into. It just becomes a really cheap engine, and it's always nice to get out because the 4 slot is usually pretty good, because then you can go directly into a 5, which has a lot more bonuses. So yeah, we play 4 of it, and sometimes there'll be times where you gain the memory from the Penguinmons, and then you're able to extend a little bit further by playing just 1 memory. So having this is really nice. Then we play the 4 Aegisdramon. This one's really good because it essentially makes your Aegisdramons, your Plesios, a lot of the cards in this deck just blocker, and that's just really good sometimes. Sometimes we don't have a lot of comeback tools in this deck, and Aegisdramon is one of the comeback tools that we have, because essentially a lot of the decks just can't really deal with like a big blocker unless they have to, you know, use an effect on it essentially. So we play 4 of it. Then we play Aegisdramon. I was not happy with this card at all when I was playing it, so I think you could probably cut this and add more consistency into the deck. I know this is technically consistency, but you don't want to play 6 to play this. The draw 2 is nice, but I mean, there's probably better options out there. So if you're thinking about switching the deck out a little bit, probably switch these for like Tamers or something like that. So that is all the level 4s. Again, I would definitely recommend removing the cores, or to find another level 4, or potentially adding additional Tamers. Then we get onto the ultimates, the Aegisdramon. This one doesn't feel very necessary anymore from testing, but I still like it because it does allow you to enable in sources and inherited. So again, it's just a when attacking, which is the main reason why I don't like this card as much, because there's a card now that does this job a lot more better. And when you attack as an inheritable, it does the same thing as well. So you get to trigger off your Bukas and other effects as well very easily. So we still play it at 4 because it probably is the second best level 5 you can potentially play in the deck. Then we get onto the newer card, BT11 WaruSeadramon. It's really good because it has on play and when digivolving. So this means that if you were to summon this from the Aegisdramon or any other way, you can always get the effect off, and it's just at play a purple or blue level 3 from a source. And as an inheritable, you get a memory when you do play a Digimon bind effect. So essentially what ends up happening is that you can go into your Aegisdramon or your level 6 guy, the Plesio. You're able to play a guy out, and then essentially that Digievolution cost becomes 1 or 2 depending if you don't have the Bukamon. So it's a really cheap avenue to bring out a lot of small guys very quickly. So we have to play 4 of it. I think it's better than the Aegisdramon at this point. So we play 8 ultimates, and then we go into the Megas. So 4 Plesiomon, your main control tool and the main enabler of this deck. You get to play a level 3 or a level 4 with aquatic in its traits, and then you get to put one underneath it again. Really powerful effect because you need to have the resources keep on going under and under, so we love that. Then it also has the controlling effect of when you play a card from a Digievolution card, return one of your opponent's Digimon with the same level to the bottom of your own deck. So when you get into your Aegisdramon, you'll be able to play pretty much every answer that you want in response to whatever your opponent does. And the reason why I say any answer is because you go into the BT11. On play, you get to return 2 of your opponent's level 4s to the hand, and then this can't be blocked by opponent's Digimon Digievolution cards. That effect doesn't really matter, but the fact that you can go into Aegisdramon, bounce this, and then return a level 6 on your opponent's side of the field is very strong. So we play 2 of this to continue the bouncing, because there will be times where your opponent has to play a lot of lower guys to get searches, so this bounces them back to hand. I know that means they can use it again, but it reduces the risk of you losing the following turn. So we play 2 of it. That is 6 Megas, and of course 4 Aegisdramon. You need to find your Aegisdramon for this deck to really be enabled, because even though the effect is just really good in general, it really pops off, because essentially you get your Seadramon. Now we have a new Seadramon at level 5, so we can get that one, which allows us to enable even more effects. And yeah, this card is really good. It's just a shame that the opponent's turn effect doesn't come up as much as you'd like it to. It's basically when your opponent plays a Digimon card, you can activate the when Digivolving effect, which means that your Plesiosaur is able to trigger on the opponent's turn as well, which means you could bounce it back as well. So obviously it's really nice when you hit that, but most of the time you should go for the one trigger, and the one trigger is enough. Then we play 2 Davis. I think you should play 3, quite honestly. Remove one of the Aegisdramons to play a third one of this. This is really good. I mean, you need more of this, to be fair. You need to be set to 3 a lot of the time in this deck. You should obviously play around it in this deck because you gain memory from the egg and the level 5, but you definitely do need to get more tamers in this deck, in my opinion. So I'd switch the core for one of these, or maybe the Matashida, which allows you to strip sources, but just yeah, get more of this essentially, I feel. Then we get onto options. Mandatory Ice Wall helps you stay alive. 2 blue memory boost, help us with our memory issues sometimes, but also searching cards is really important. Then we play the 1 Surai. Surai can be just a massive end of your opponent's turn, similar to Congo, but in a different way, because this just lingers pretty much. So it's really good effect, in my opinion, and probably the best card that, well, not one of the best cards, but a good card that came out in BT11 is Maelstrom. It's an enabler which we needed a lot more in this deck. So for 5 cost, you get to play a blue Digimon card from one of your blue Digimon Digivolution sources without paying its memory cost. Then if you have a Seadramon in its name in play, you can return one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon to the bottom of your owner's deck. So it has really good protection or removal, because going to the bottom of your deck, it means you just won't be able to see it for the rest of the game essentially. And also playing a guy is also really powerful because you're able to get a lot more advantage. So yeah, we play 2 of this because if you hit it in security, it feels really, really nice. Anyways, that has been my Aegisdramon deck profile. Overall, I think the deck is very much just a fun deck. I don't think it has enough competitive tools to be a very competitive deck, but if you're looking for a cheap and interesting deck that plays around a mechanic that really is supposed to be Blue's main game mechanic, but it got scrapped essentially, I think this is a really cool deck. All the stuff is relatively cheap, and it's probably in someone's binder collecting dust because no one wants to play this, unfortunately. But it is a fun deck, and the fact that you get to play a Penguin now is a lot more fun. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more content, and I'll see you guys next time.